What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Amalgam Games Lab. I am your host, Shannon Haegler, and I'm joined by Keena Johnston.
That's me.
Hello.
I forgot I needed to respond. I was super relaxed and drinking beer. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, we're actually talking on a podcast.
It's a chill-ass
How do I
podcast.
do that? I've only done a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it's a chill week this week.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so the Amalgam Games Lab, this is a show where we talk primarily about the gaming industry, gaming news, and games in general.
But not board games. But we're not...
Maybe.
One day.
Maybe one day. If board games make the news enough one day, maybe.
A Pokemon board game. Pokemon D&D.
Well, they are doing that Mario Kart Monopoly.
Really? That doesn't make too much sense.
Yeah.
I have Nintendo Monopoly.
Yeah, they've done like a gamer edition, but they're doing like a Mario Kart one where like the players are the carts and there's like special abilities and all that kind of stuff. It's
That's a bit too deep for Monopoly.
yeah, bit crazy. Of course, we'll do the housekeeping, so check out the Amalgam show this week. Bit of a ramshackle one this week.
Yeah, not what's the word? It's disjointed at
Yeah,
best.
first time in a while we've done the Amalgam show before the Games Lab. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because everyone wants to go drinkies.
yeah.
Because we're doing this on a Saturday
We'll do
night
this on a
now.
Saturday night. Yeah,
Will I get this uploaded tomorrow? Who's to say?
who knows? No, just do it on the Monday.
I need to go in and do uni stuff anyway, so
Yeah.
I need to write. What do I need to write? My
Can't you
TV
set a
show
timer
pitch.
for the upload? Like you can
Yeah,
upload
schedule it, yeah.
Yeah, schedule it. Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I do. That's why
Keep it the same.
Amalgam goes up all the time.
If you do have any questions for the show, please comment below or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. Hit all the all the buttons.
All the butts. Hit them butts with consent.
Please, with consent. Hit all the buttons, the like, the subscribe, the bell. Apparently it doesn't work anymore, but who cares?
That was fun.
Yeah. And we'll get straight into it. I wanted to chat because Battlefield 5 has been officially announced, or Battlefield V. I think they officially said it was 5.
It's 5. No one calls the game V. Unless
No.
it's V for Vendetta. It's not 5 for Vendetta.
Yeah, it's true.
Or 5 bitches.
Yeah. I wanted to chat about it because we had that we had our podcast a few weeks ago. I think it was the first Amalgam Games Lab, maybe.
First and second year,
first and second
we
one
talked
we
about
kinda talked
Battle
about-
Royales.
Yeah, and kind of EA's problems as of late. Battlefield 5's reveal was interesting.
I didn't pay too much attention to it, so what I know is everyone's upset because of the girl on the cover.
Oh yeah, well those guys can go to hell. Yeah, there's a woman. Like, yeah, there were women in World War II.
In World War One, there's
Yeah.
always been women. Just because you don't see women
Yeah.
in action movies about war.
And she's awesome. She looks so cool on that cover. Like, she's just badass and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. She will essentially, as far as I can tell, she's one of the characters in the story mode.
Yeah.
Because they're doing that vignette thing again, where
Which
you
is-
follow 3 characters.
Sounds really good. I didn't play Battlefield 1.
It's really good.
The only thing that I heard was that, like, the black guy they put on the Battlefield 1, not even in the game, or, like, is barely in the game. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's the purpose of this then?
Yeah.
Because apparently the Harlem Globetrotters are really, really interesting. Which is what he was a part of, yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But they're essentially doing the same thing, and this time they've decided to center it around one character, like 3 characters, and one of them is on the box art. But there were some like little tidbits that came out from that event. So, firstly, it was hosted by Trevor Noah.
I know that name.
He's the new host of The Daily Show. Took over Jon Stewart's job.
Is he a young guy?
Yeah. Young
Yeah.
guy, South African.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I do know him. Wow. Well
he's
done,
still-
I guess. It's weird how, like, late night shows get some weird gaming exclusive. Like, a couple of things
Yeah.
will be on like, Conan O'Brien. You're
It
like,
make-
yeah.
It makes some sort of sense because Trevor Noah is the youngest of the late night show hosts, so like of any of the demographics that was gonna, if any of the late night hosts was actually going to be a gamer, it's probably Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
But he was there. He did a funny gag, and it's something that I wanted to talk about was he was essentially like, can I pay to win this game? And they were like, no, you cannot. And he was like, but what if I have lots of money? So, essentially, this event revealed that there is no season pass.
Which is very interesting coming from EA.
Coming
And
from-
all the DLC will be free.
Yes, no map packs. There is a customizable hub so basically where this goes is it's, the way I've heard it described and the way it looks to me is they're essentially overwatching it. All your cosmetic stuff is the stuff you can pay for.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you can if you want, but it's all cosmetic. Everything else is free. Maps, any expansions, DLC, all that kind of stuff is completely and utterly free. It seems as though they have learned from their mistakes with Battlefront,
Hopefully.
but it also feels like they're doing it in the most cynical way of just like it's almost like EA gave up. Like they were just like, oh fine, we won't do them like monetization.
We won't be evil.
Yeah, like fucking it's so frustrating. And
It's like when the Riddler goes good. Just like, I won't be evil anymore. I'll be a good guy and see how that goes.
Fine, are you happy? Like, it's so frustrating. It's frustrating because EA has so many really good developers underneath them.
Yeah.
You know, DICE is amazing. If you see the clips from Battlefield 5, like that Frostbite engine...
The Frostbite engine's been gorgeous since Battlefield 3. Like, what the fuck? Like...
It's so good. It looks so good. They're putting in like chaotic nature of the campaign into the multiplayer as well. And so one of the cool things I saw out of the multiplayer is like we were talking about the battle royale stuff, and like they talked about their new multiplayer mode, which is called Grand Operation, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Where essentially it is a you start as you're in teams, and you know, normal Battlefield stuff where it's like huge player count.
Yeah.
And you are going through these different stages. So where there are objectives, so you've got to complete the objective with with your team, and then that mode was pretty much in the previous Battlefield, like Battlefield 1, was like the operations mode where you just complete the objectives in a series of short multiplayer games. The difference being now is that there is a final stage to this one now, where whoever's left at the end of it is in an all-out survival campaign against each other. Last man standing wins.
Huh.
So that's their battle royale mode.
That's weird and interesting.
I think it's interesting because it gives you... It is a different take on it.
Yeah.
It gives you that sense of battle royale at the end, and in between you are doing more than just looting or surviving. There are actual objectives to complete.
Yeah.
So it seems interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. It just bugs me that EA is going to do this sort of out of the goodness of their hearts, like, hey, free DLC.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what they're going to do moving forward now, because they are, in my mind, EA has the ability. They've got so many avenues to make good on all the shit they've done.
Yeah.
They've got the ability, they've got the IP and everything they're sitting on to just pull the trigger and do something good.
Yeah.
Skate 4.
Tony Hawk's Skatefall.
Yeah.
The other week.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
You know? I think that one of the biggest things they could do that would, like, honestly, it would make them a lot of bank, and it would bring around a lot of goodwill, is a Mass Effect Trilogy remake. Not a remake, remaster. Just put it in HD, put it on one disc, give me the fucking games.
Yeah, and that's the thing, everyone's like, we want that, but a couple of years ago, they were like, oh, we're looking forward, we don't want to do HD collection. With one, EA saying that, like, we're basically saying no to money, which is weird, and two, like, some of their games, like, would be great for remasters, like Mass Effect, like the first two Dragon Ages, like, holy shit. Can you imagine how fucking psyched people would be for a Skate collection?
Yeah, like, hell yeah.
Like,
and all they've done is just, like, throw them on the backwards compatibility list and be like, yeah, we've done it. It's like, God, come on, guys.
Which
like,
only affects Microsoft players, which is half the amount of PlayStation, but, like...
And there are more PlayStations out there. Like, even if you just did a remaster of the Mass Effects on PlayStation only, just because, and said something like, hey, Xbox already got backwards compatibility, these are for our PlayStation fans, that's 79 million units or something like that of people. And, like, not all of them are going to buy it, but enough of a chunk of those people really like Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a dedicated fan base. They will buy that again.
Every Mass Effect fan, every BioWare fan I know wants a Mass Effect trilogy.
I want one. I'm a Mass Effect fan.
Same.
I love it. I want to do I want to find the right time to one day talk about my Mass Effect story.
I have another one. I have a Mass Effect story.
Yeah.
I was making decisions before I even started the game.
Yeah, I wasn't. I went into the blind, and I had I know people bitch about the third one, but that game that I played through all three of those practically as one game.
Same, yeah.
And I had probably the most perfect experience in a video game trilogy I've ever had. To the point where if they did release it, I know I would buy the Mass Effect trilogy. I don't know if I would actually play it.
Fair enough.
Because I tried to play it again, and I was like, oh, I'll make different decisions, I'll do different things.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I just found myself going back to what I was doing before because it was so perfect the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it frustrates me that they won't do the obvious thing.
Yeah.
And like for a company that's that big, and for a company that has proven that they are very adverse to, like they're very risk evasive. They do not like taking giant risks on certain things.
Which is why we took forever to get a Mirror's Edge sequel.
Yeah, you would think that the Mass Effect remake or just a remaster, yeah, not necessarily a remake, just a remaster would be the easiest slam dunk that they could make as a company.
The only thing that I think why they are hesitant on it is because Mass Effect 3 is so, like, to build up your galactic readiness, you need to be doing multiplayer. And I feel like no one wants to play Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
But the way they rebalanced it...
Oh, did they rebalance it?
Yeah,
after?
so essentially because I played it well after the release of Mass Effect 3.
I did play it in 2012, so...
Yeah, I played it in, 2014.
Okay.
And so at that point, the idea of everyone playing multiplayer to do that was kind of and they had redone some balance changes. Okay. So essentially, if you don't play the multiplayer, your galactic readiness sits at 50 and just stays there. And... essentially, if you don't access the multiplayer and don't do anything, it barely affects the story anymore.
Okay.
Like, it barely affects anything. As far as I could tell, because I had a friend who played it week of release and got his galactic readiness right up to 100% and did all the right things. And essentially, when I was comparing the two endings of our stories and we were talking about it, ours were pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Apart from, one or two differences. And we could pinpoint why those differences happened because of decisions in 2 and 1.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, that's why you got that, and that's why you got that. Everything else was the same, and I didn't touch the multiplayer.
Yeah.
And he got a pretty decent ending. One of the better, one of the good, quote-unquote, endings. So, as far as I can tell, that stuff doesn't affect it anymore. But even if it did, it would just be a matter of, I mean, they've got the multiplayer servers working on 360.
Oh. Still, yeah.
Yeah, the multiplayer servers work. You can play Mass Effect 3 multiplayer on the Xbox One. Just use the same infrastructure. It's not that fucking hard. Or, you're EA. You be the one who says, hey, Microsoft, PlayStation, can we do this whole cross-play thing now?
PlayStation's never going to pull the trigger on that until they start losing.
That was the thing. Microsoft was never going to pull the trigger until they started losing.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, the companies will never do stuff until they're losing.
Moral of the story is everyone needs to lose.
Yeah, and PlayStation lost for a generation, and now they back up. And I hope they don't hit the PS3 hubris, when entering PS3, because I do not want PlayStation 5 to be revealed, and they're just as dumb as they were when they revealed PlayStation 3.
I don't think so. I find it hard to believe they would do it again.
Yeah.
Only because... they did the PS1 and they were on top of the world. They did the PS2 and they were on top of the world.
Everyone wanted the DVD player.
Yeah, they did it back to back, and then they did the PS3 where the hubris got to them.
Yeah. And there's also the thing of third consoles always fail. Well, they're always they kill. It's a curse of the third console.
Yeah,
so there's that. There's Xbox One. There's N64.
Yeah,
all have very similar.
Yeah, and
stories.
They've built themselves back on the PS4. I can't imagine the leadership there looking at the way the PS3 went and being like, yeah, we'll just do that again. Come on, you can see the path here of, if you guys stick to your guns and do what you're good at, you'll win.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. It's the same with the Xbox One. Microsoft just needs to look back to the 360 and go, what did we do right?
Yeah.
And if they do that...
Which means releasing a year early and having... internet.
That's the problem, is they can't do that again. They've boxed themselves into a corner.
Yeah, Xbox themselves into a corner. Sorry.
Hey. Well, I guess we'll move on then, because Battlefield 5, there's not much else to say about it.
Yeah, I'm not a big Battlefield fan. I always get interested. The closest I ever got to pulling the trigger and buying it was Battlefield 1.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing. It's World War II again.
Yeah.
Which...
And they're doing the collection, or at least a remaster for Battlefield 1942.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it includes 43 or not, but
I
like
doubt it.
everyone just wants Bad Company. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, again, I've never
I
played
don't know,
Battlefield,
yeah.
but like Bad Company.
The World War II thing's interesting because, like, last year when Call of Duty World War II came out, everyone was like, but aren't we, like, World War II'd out?
Yeah.
And apparently not, because that game sold very well.
Because it's Call of Duty.
And Battlefield's no slouch, so,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a big fan of shooters. World War II doesn't interest me as from an American perspective anymore, because even outside of games, like American perspective is always they're always the hero because they kind of were to an extent. They came in, won for everyone who had been like fighting for years, and then helped like colonize or put American influences throughout the world.
Yeah, and then fucked everything for the next 50 years.
Yeah, and America always like, oh, we were the heroes. Like, no one actually cares about like the Russians or anything. Which is what I liked about Battlefield 1, that they were different perspectives.
Yeah,
like
and
you did get to play as the Germans.
I mean, as a glimmer of hope, I guess, in this one is the fact that like they have picked a female protagonist for part of the vignette, so that's a different perspective that we don't see very often.
Yeah.
So hopefully that means that the game itself is sort of focusing on that. They did say that they are focusing on battles that are less well known, so there's no storming the beach of Normandy or stuff like that. I'm sure it'll be in a map pack at some point.
Yeah.
But that's not what their story's going to focus on. So that's promising, I guess.
Yeah. I think for me, like it's a different gender perspective. While that's important, it's still from America, or even I'm not sure if she's British or not. But
I don't think she's American.
Okay, do you know what she is?
She's Eastern European.
Okay, then that's interesting.
I'm pretty sure she's from one of the countries that Germany took over, and she's fighting to get it back.
That's interesting.
I think that's the story they're going with her. So yeah, they've gone a different direction.
As an Australian, and also as an interesting setting, I would like to see the Kokoda Trail storylines, and or even just more specific theatre stuff.
Yeah.
Specific.
I mean, has Gallipoli ever been in a game? I think that would be a very interesting one to...
It's very sad, because we just fucking get mowed down, but... that would be interesting.
I mean, you want to look at like what video games can do for the world and as a form of art, and video games have that very unique part of their the unique part of that medium is that it's interactive.
Yeah.
So it gives us the opportunity, and it's something we still haven't tapped into fully yet or fully realized. There are certainly games that do it, obviously, but they haven't hit the mainstream as much. Is that the video games have the ability to put you in someone else's shoes for a bit. And I think with war games, it would be very interesting to put people in the shoes of a losing battle. Which is what Gallipoli is. It's a losing fight from the start.
And you know what's interesting? I didn't know that.
Really?
Like, for the longest time, because no one actually said we lost. We're just like, yeah, Gallipoli, it's a good place for mateship, and that's where the Anzacs were born.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all true. I never knew we lost for the longest time. We fucking lost that? Why do we hype it up so much?
Because
I get why, but it's just
we hype it up. We hype it up because, and honestly, it deserves to be hyped up because even though it was absolutely 100% a losing battle, the thing that makes it stand out is that when you look at it, they should have lost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, the second they hit the shore, they should have just been done.
Yeah.
But they didn't, because they stuck their guns, they worked out what they could, they fought them off as long as they could.
Yeah.
And they did everything within their power. And that, I think, would be an interesting story to tell in a war game. Because the thing with the shooters, especially Call of Duty and Battlefield and all that kind of stuff, is that you're always the winner, or you're fighting to win, and win. We're the best. And, like, that it's... and Battlefield 1 is a little bit different because it's dealing with a war where there are no winners.
Yeah.
Same with World War II, that there are no winners. So it's a little bit different. But for the most part, like, when you're in battle and you're in those story modes, you get to the end and your character survives somewhat. Maybe your character dies, but at the end of the day, you know that the war was won.
Yeah.
So, quote unquote.
Yeah, especially in World War II.
Yeah.
Because that is a good version.
Well, some would argue. At this point...
for the most part.
Given the political climate in America, I would say
it's
that.
America, but America could sort that out immediately if they fucking pulled their heads in, but they're not going to, so...
Yeah. But the... Yeah, like, I think it would be a very interesting thing for them to pick up on battles like Gallipoli, where, hey, you get to play as the people who got fucked. And it would be interesting, like, imagine you're playing a campaign, and you go into a level, and you, as the player, know that 100% this plan is fucked, because you know it didn't work. And guess what? Your character knows it's fucked, because they're looking at it going, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And you get to feel what they felt. And you get to feel the desperation of, like, can I just get to here?
Yeah.
And building a level that allows you to feel like you're making an advance, and like maybe you'll get, maybe you're the one, maybe you're the soldier that could have been on the field to turn the tide.
Yeah.
Turns out, nope. Like, every single one of you is.
Yeah, no, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're ever going to get another World War One game for a very long time.
No, probably not.
I think we've talked about Battlefield 5 enough.
Yeah, we have. We'll move on to the PlayStation.
PlayStation. So yeah, some of the bosses came out and said, well, one boss in particular said, "Oh my god, the PlayStation 4 is like it's only got like 3 years left," and we were like, "No, duh, that's how console cycles work now." And you already said a couple of weeks ago that it's going to end in like March 2021, and like the reports are saying consoles are going to launch in end of May, in end of 2020. So like we're spinning us wheels at this point.
Yeah, I mean the
in terms of news and stuff.
Yeah, I mean the video game news cycle is built on this kind of stuff though. Of like, someone said a thing and now we're going to latch onto it and pull every tiny detail out of it so that we can make ourselves feel good. What I took this to mean is, like it's very odd. Like 3 years from the end of the PS3, we didn't have
anything.
We didn't have
that is
we literally got the like, ooh, Sony's looking to make some moves in R&D at like the end of 2012.
Yeah.
And then in early 2013 was like, they're doing a press conference and they're going to announce something big. And you're like, okay, it's probably the PS4.
Yeah.
We'll see what we'll get, but that's probably what it's going to be. Then they
Project Orbis.
Yeah. Then they do the announcement in February in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And they do that thing and it's awesome. And it, like, that is often some of the most exciting time in video games is new hardware launch, because it's where you get to speculate, like, where's it going to go, what are they going to do, like, how good are these games going to fucking look. But the thing is, at the end of the day, those first 12 months of, like, build up and speculation, everything they show you there is, like, none of the stuff they showed us for the PS4, like, the way it looked, actually came to fruition except for the last, like, 2 years.
How do you mean?
Well, the way...
Oh, like early stuff that we saw, like
yeah,
the Watch Dogs demo.
Exactly. Like, you take a look at the Watch Dogs demo, that's way more in line of the games like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they look like now. But the first 12 months of the console weren't exactly hitting on all cylinders, because it takes time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me that, like... they're entering into R&D.
No,
of course
that makes sense. They probably already started a couple of years ago. They've been trying stuff for ages.
I would. Yes, that's the thing is the
R&D's
way.
always working. On something.
Yeah. I mean, the way this kind of, the way I looked at it was like, cool. You guys did the PS4, and you sat on it, and you gave it to your best teams, your Santa Monica's, your Naughty Dogs, your Gorillas, your Quantic Dreams.
Is Gorilla the only game to ship two PS4 games?
No,
Naughty Dog
did Lost Legacy. Yeah.
And I suppose Sucker Punch is going to get a third with first.
And Naughty Dog will get third.
Will they?
After this.
Yeah. Okay, wrong thing. Yeah.
So they'll, they've given it to their top studios, let them work on it. I'll bet that they gave all of the pieces to those guys yonks ago.
Oh yeah.
And when the PS4 got launched, and they were like, okay, cool. So the PS4's launched. We got Uncharted in the back burner. At that point in time, they already had God of War in the back burner. We know because it was a 5-year development cycle.
Yeah.
So God of War's on the back burner. Horizon Zero Dawn was on the back burner. Like everything's bubbling away nicely. Cool.
Yeah.
The R&D team probably went cool. PSVR. Because that was the next thing that came out.
And the Pro. Like, there was a couple of like lines that they went.
It probably would have been like simultaneous development because the VR works best with the Pro.
Yeah.
So like that's probably what they were doing. It was like, okay, can we like beef up the PlayStation just a little bit to see if we can get some like a little bit extra power but not actually detriment anyone? Like how do we do this by making the VR work? Can we make the VR work on the regular one? Okay, cool, it looks better on this one. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And get that kind of stuff balanced. And then a second the VR came out, I'd say they probably had 12 months where they just kind of went, okay, bug reports. Like, how the hell do we fix this fucking thing?
Yeah.
Get that sorted. And once they finished up with that, that's probably when they started looking at what a PS5 is going to look like.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you it's in early sketches.
Oh,
like, it's probably not even at the point where they've designed what it looks like yet. It's at the point where they're like, cool, this chip, this motherboard, like, how does this work?
It's probably deciding what architecture it is, because if we go
It's
your theory, where it's like x86...
Better be x86.
Do you think, since it will likely be x86, that we won't go through the troubleshooting stages where everything looks a bit dodgy for the first year or so?
No, I think we still will, because I think whatever, regardless of the architecture, because I think that will be the same. I think it's if they did change the architecture, it better be just a better version of x86 that can still run x86.
x87.
Yeah,
I don't know how x80 works.
Yeah, but it better be just an upgraded version that can still run that stuff, because otherwise they're shooting themselves in the fucking foot.
And I think they are wanting to work toward backwards compatibility. Otherwise, they will get fucking... Microsoft will kill them next year.
Yeah, I think we will still have that teething problem, just because what I think they'll do is they'll continue to... They'll upgrade the graphics card, obviously, and give it something better.
More RAM.
They'll probably give it more RAM, they'll give it more of that kind of stuff, and at the end of the day, you still need to learn how to work with that and figure out what the bits and pieces are. And, like, even if it is x86, like, you can still look at God of War, and, like, it looks amazing, but it's still framey in spots.
In a few spots, but not many, for me.
Exactly. Like, and I was even playing Ratchet and Clank the other day, and that game is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I noticed in some of the bigger battles where there's particle effects, my PlayStation was starting to hitch up. And I don't know whether that's the age of the PlayStation or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, because I remember the first time I played that game, either it's my nostalgia or it was the system, but when I first played that game, I played it off of disc. And it ran like a dream. But I've got a digital version of it now, and in some of the big battles, it was starting to hitch up a little bit. So
that might be, age of PlayStation. Yours is a launch PS4?
It was. I've had it replaced once.
Okay.
So it's still the old model.
Yeah.
But it's a terabyte instead of the 500 gig.
Yeah.
So it's, it's probably the age of the console, but like it shouldn't be doing that at this point. Not with games like that. Not when it ran God of War and I had like 2 frame problems. Yeah. Really. 2 times I noticed the frame rate.
Sometimes. Like the later you get a game, like sometimes the more patches, sometimes it messes up.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff. Like it could why did this change?
Yeah, it could be a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But like when you look at that, it's like, okay, cool. That's still a little bit hitchy.
Yeah.
On the PS4, even though it's got way more power than it needs to run a game like Ratchet and Clank. So there is still optimization that needs to happen. And I think if we do get a PS5, we will probably still see some teething problems out of the gate as people start to figure out how to make it work, especially because your first batch of games are often straddling the generation.
Yeah.
So it'll be a bunch of PS4s upscaled. Also, there's the question of, like, do they make this thing an 8K rendering machine out of the gate? How much does that cost? Because I don't think... No. Here's my bold prediction. I don't think a generation or any console that launches at over $500 is ever going to win again in Australia.
Oh, 500 Australian dollars.
Yeah, sorry, over 600 is probably where I'm looking at. Yeah. So if it launches at over $600 in Australia, I don't think that is ever going to win the console war ever again, because that 650, that 600 mark is just the death knell. Like it's just too much for modern economy.
Is that what the Xbox One was when it launched?
The Xbox One X was 650.
Okay.
And the Xbox One X is 650 as well.
You said X twice. But
Sorry.
One S and X?
Xbox One and the Xbox One X.
Yep, okay.
They were both 650 at launch.
Okay.
The One S was a little bit cheaper. Don't know.
It should be. It's slimmer. It's just that it's set with 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah. I think they. Yeah, it was weird, and so the PlayStation, both the Pro and the original PlayStation, both launched at $550. That was their price point. Well, actually, the original Xbox One might have been $600, because I remember the price difference in America was $100, but the price difference here was only $50.
Yeah.
It was like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But even then, having the having the $5.99 price tag
Yeah.
it's just tough. People don't want to spend that much on a console. They want to spend the lower end.
Yeah.
And so launching it at that high price point, and if this thing is a 4K machine within 3 years, it's probably still going to be around that price point for it to even make even up, like even to break even. Let alone make a profit on the damn thing.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. I don't think it will be 8K, because I feel like the console cycle now is out of sync with how TVs develop, because we had to do a mid-gap to introduce 4K. Like, it won't be until PlayStation 5 Pro where we get a 8K version.
Well,
or maybe not even until PlayStation 6, because I do not know.
The thing with the consoles, though, is they won't adopt anything unless they can tell that the mainstream has already adopted it. Because the thing with the consoles is... that's actually the odd thing about the Pro and the X, is that, like... yes, the adoption rate for 4K is happening, but it's nowhere near the speed of HD TV.
Yeah.
And so, like... this is one of the first times where they've kind of gotten ahead of the curve on the television thing, because, like... you can get 4K TVs, but still people don't care, because TVs last ages. Yeah. Like, once you buy one, you've got it for years.
Yeah. Which is why I don't like how we're speeding it up to get better and better. I'm like, TVs isn't the market for the iPhone improvement.
No. You get one, you have it for a decade, and then you replace it when it finally conks out. That's when you replace a TV. No one replaces a TV because, like, oh, I need a new one. Everyone replaces it when it dies. Yeah. That's when you do it. And TVs are always built very well. Like, I hope they don't ever do the other model, because they're just fucking expensive as well. Yeah. But having the 4K in the system now seems to not make a lot of sense, because most people don't have a TV that works it. What you end up doing is you end up sacrificing, because you don't do the 4K rendering, you just get the frame rate buff. Yeah. And, like, I think a lot of people in the console gaming space, specifically those who maybe already game on PC and have a console in their back pocket, would probably prefer if these consoles actually rendered at a solid 60 the whole time. Yeah. Because even the Pro can't do that. No, even the X doesn't do it properly. Yeah. Of, like, it doesn't render the games that are 60 frames. It can't do it consistently. Yeah. It does drop. It does dip. I think that's what we want, not the resolution. The resolution is fine. Yeah. Do your super sampling if you have to. Yeah. We don't really care. It's the frame rate people want.
I don't think we're ever going to get constant 60s, because a lot of people sacrifice down to 30 to get better resolution or just better graphics. We've had 60 frames since the PS2. Like, the original Ratchet and Clank games ran at 60 frames per second. The original like DMC and God of War ran at 60. Like, but to now, it's like we choose 30 to get the games looking the way we want them. And that's why I don't think we'll ever get a constant 60.
But I think that's the thing they'll aim for. They will aim to get a constant 60.
Maybe. We all thought that was going to start at the start of this generation.
But the power isn't there. It's not there.
It's what you're using the power for, because you can balance it for, like, not looking as great, but then you get beautiful frame rate.
But the thing is, between when these consoles launched and where we are now, since then we've had the 1060, the 1070, and the 1080 come out. I think all three of those have come out in that time span. Yeah. And those are three graphics cards that can render full HD at 60 frames or higher with zero problem. We have the power now to do that. I think what my thought in terms of, like, what do you do in terms of numbers and graphics to give people, is that I think whatever next generation it is, they are looking to have 1080p 60 frames as the lowest it'll go. That's what they'll probably look to lock it at.
I think, that's fair.
It could probably render a 4K thing at 30 frames. Yeah. But that's not what the selling point of the console will be. It will be, this thing will run every full HD game at 60 frames and not drop. Yeah. That's what the benchmark will be. That'll be the baseline. Yeah. It'll be like how the 360 was like, well, 720p is technically HD, so that's as low as we're going to go. Yeah. And same with this. 1080-60 is as low as they're going to go. Yeah. Everything else on top of that is gravy. Like, yeah, we'll do a 4K game at 30 frames. Maybe in a couple of years on an iterative version, it'll do it at 60, but it'll hitch every now and then we'll see how we go from there. Yeah. But the thing I looked at it was like, okay, they say, like, we're looking at about 3 years before we get in the next one. I look at this as, cool, that means that that Sony are looking at the next 3 years, and we're about to head into the PS4's prime. That's what I look at it as.
Because we've got Last of Us 2.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting Red Dead Redemption 2. Ghost of Tsushima will be hopefully really good because they've been developing this game since at least 2015. So that'll be a 4-year cycle, which is plenty of time. Death Stranding, which I think will be cross-gen because Metal Gear Solid 5 was cross-gen beautifully.
Who fucking knows?
There was another one. Whatever the other game they're bringing this year. Oh, no, not Spider-Man. But Spider-Man will be great.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good 8-9 game. Not a 10 game, but it'll be great.
Yeah. I think,
What else do you think is part of that prime? Like,
well, that's the thing, is that, like, we've got games releasing for this year. You know, possibly. Games releasing for next year. There is... Like, people are saying, like, okay, cool, so the next console's in 2021. Cool. What's 2020? What in that list goes out in 2020? If we think that Last of Us 2 might straddle generation, or even Death Stranding, there's a whole year that it's missing. There are plenty of developers that haven't released a game in a year or two that could release something. From 2017 to 2020 gives us enough time for a Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
yeah.
Horizon
1 Dawn.
Yeah, it gives us a possibility to have something new from the Naughty Dog team that does Uncharted.
I think they've all become one team now. Like, they're not really two teams anymore. I think they've got, like, two pre-pro teams, but when the whole production ramps up, they get everyone on board.
Okay,
Same with Rockstar. They're no longer separate teams. They're all working on Red Dead Redemption or GTA Online. Which is its own little thing.
Because that's its own thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But essentially what I'm saying is that, like, we have sort of a bare skeleton and a bare roadmap for sort of the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But there are still a couple of years in there that aren't mapped out. We don't even have an idea of what that is. And when you look at the stuff that was coming out on the consoles at the end of the 360 and PS3, that was some of the best years of those consoles. We were talking about it like a couple of weeks ago, how, like, you know, if you look at... Okay, so let's say we got 3 years left. We're looking at, what?
So to the end of 2021.
End of 2021. Alright, cool.
Yeah.
So, if we look at it like that, these consoles came out the end of 2013. Alright, so we take that back and we go to 2010. So, 2010.
That was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Probably the best Assassin's Creed game.
Definitely up there. Definitely in the top 5.
Was that not Mass Effect 2?
It was Mass Effect 2. It was Red Dead Redemption. It was...
Gears of War 2?
I think that was 2009.
Okay. But, okay, cool. So let's just... Even with that, Mass Effect 2, Red Dead Redemption, Brotherhood. 3 of the top tier games.
Yeah.
2011, Skyrim.
Everything that came out that year.
Yeah.
Everything that ended in a 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Arkham City.
And then you move into 2012.
Dishonored. That's what 2012 is for me.
2012 is Mass Effect 3, which, you know, give or take for some people.
I can't think of anything else. 2012 was a dry year, but that's how we get some special games like Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah.
Dishonored.
I'm just trying to think back to my 2012. I don't think I played that many games that year because
Journey, The Walking Dead.
Yes. Yeah.
A bunch of indie stuff came out.
XCOM.
That was the year. XCOM.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the game where like indie game finally became not indie games, but they're games.
Yeah.
Like, Journey, Walking Dead got Game of the Year.
And then you got the 2013 year, which is The Last of Us.
Yeah, The Last of Us and the launch of new consoles.
Yeah, Last of Us, Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah. I used to put them on the same level now. Infinite's like
slipping down. Yeah, but like at the time, that thing was incredible.
Yeah.
So you look at those last 3 years, and you look at the games the quality of games that we got. Some of those games are games of the generation type games.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years of that console cycle. Now look at what we've had already on the PS4, and look at the next 3 years and go, okay, take that quality, put that in where we are now. We're in for a killer 3 years. Like,
hopefully,
it is software, and it is incredible software. And, like, this gives me hope for things like the PSVR. Like, last year we had Resident Evil 7 come out in the PSVR, which was incredible.
Do you think Resident Evil 8 will be on PSVR? will have a PSVR mode like.
Oh, that's tough. That is tough.
I think Sony will throw money at them again, or will throw money at them to get a version like that. Like, this is the only AAA game we
Who
have.
does Resident Evil again? Capcom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd 100% they'd do that. They'd be like, yeah, do it again.
Especially, it was successful. Like, people like, it works. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It just, then it just comes down to preference.
Yeah.
Do you remember that reveal? Where
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
7. You're like, what the fuck? And then it's evil.
Yeah.
And then you, fuck! And then it's Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Like, oh, over the Japanese. And the Japanese version's called Biohazard 7.
Yeah,
Resident Evil. Like, it is the best shit ever.
Yeah, because now they can just get rid of both of them. Like,
Yeah.
they can just, call it. There was a really good logo treatment. I was pretty happy with that.
So smart.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. Because, like,
And then it turned out to be Kitchen. You're like, fucking Kitchen's part of this? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Man, they just kept spiraling that. It was awesome. Capcom had, like, a decent year last year.
Yeah.
Because they fucked up the year before.
Thanks, Street Fighter.
Oh, God, what a nightmare. But yeah, like, I think this says to me that they have got... I think they've got some bangers left in the chamber.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think we'll see any of them this year because they've said that they're like, focusing on these 4 titles.
And I think there will be a couple of announcements. Like, there won't be big AAA Sony announcements, but there will be announcements.
Yeah.
I might just keep tracking off to other things. But
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. We'll
But,
have
like,
interesting things.
Yeah, I think we'll have some stuff, and I just think that... Cool. Them telling us that PS5, quote unquote, is
It'll be
in
PlayStation 5.
R&D is... Yeah, it's a big duh.
Yeah.
From the creators of Doi. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's...
You know, it's not surprising. Like, I'm sure it's been in, like, research for, like, ages. Like,
Yeah, this is the thing that I wanted to kind of touch on this particular topic, was that it is frustrating that the games industry news cycle is so hell-bent on this kind of stuff and hyping it up to the point
Yeah.
of like, oh my god, your PS4 is almost dead. Like, no, it's not. It's not what he said. He said there's like 3 years left. We're looking... Like, the fact that he was so open about it should have people being like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Instead of people being like, do I have to buy another PlayStation already? Like, fuck off. Like, 3 years is plenty of time. If
Yeah,
you're
3 years is tons of time. And, like, yeah. The already bit, like, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, like, I didn't play my PlayStation really until 2015.
Yeah.
And, 2015, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally got into it. I'm like, now I'm not feeling guilty. I feel like I was expecting a console announcement this year and release next year. Like, I was prepared for 2019, but they keep pushing
I mean,
it. Like,
2021 gets them, like that release means that it looks as though Sony is trying to make the 8-year cycle the thing they want to do. Because that's how long the last one was. Like,
the last one happened kind of out of accident because of the global recession and...
Yeah.
That was another reason, but yeah, no, they just sort of happened that way.
Well,
Whereas this time we
essentially
had a stopgap with the Pro. We just heard a crash and a bang, so we're a little bit worried about that, but we will continue.
We will continue. We will soldier on.
And
Jesus
there's
Christ.
like 8 people out there, so I'll
Yeah.
handle it. What else? And this one, yeah, I think they do want it to go longer. The only thing, yeah, Microsoft is the wild card. Like, do they pull the trigger early?
They can't. I've said this so many times. They can't because like I've got people people have said to me like, oh yeah, they'll probably do the like release around the same time. Like, if they do, they are fucking killing themselves because they just released the Xbox One X and it's still
What? The Xbox One X was 2016? No,
17.
17 through to 21, that's 3 years. That's a mid-gap console. Maybe the Xbox original, yeah, that's a little bit different. The Xbox original was 4 years, but
it was a flop.
No one had it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different thing. Whereas, like,
The
I
thing
don't
with
think too many people have the Xbox One X.
No, well, not that we know of, but Xbox doesn't talk about numbers anymore.
Yeah.
But they did say that it was selling better than they thought it would.
Yeah.
So if they've got...
It's outpacing the 360.
Yeah.
Like, which is fucking amazing. It's
For-
just PS4. It's destroying. It has sold already what more than PS3 has sold.
Mm-hmm.
PS3 and 360 not combined, but that's what they both got to 80 million by the end of their life cycle.
Yeah.
PS4's already reached that.
Yeah.
The fact that Xbox One is outpacing the 360 is really good. It's just, yeah, there's this big the Wii, like the PS3 4 is kind of doing Wii numbers not exactly, but
No.
the Wii got ridiculously popular.
Yeah, and I think
that's
the-
not fair. Like, that's why you can, like, why we never can count Nintendo in, like, who's coming first or second. Like,
Because
what's the third?
Nintendo
And
does
it's
their
either
own thing.
winning or not coming.
Yeah, because Nintendo's doing its own thing.
Yeah.
Because like it's selling the Switch at rapid numbers as well that
Yeah.
are ridiculous.
People are saying Wii numbers, like, it's going to reach Wii lifetime goals.
Well-
I'm like, I don't think so, because
it might,
unless
because
they do lean into the handheld side
Which I
and
think they
say,
are.
we want every person in the family to own this.
which I think they are, because we'll move on to this next one.
Good segue, yeah?
Yeah, the dockless Switch.
Yeah, in Japan.
Yeah, like in Japan that's going to happen, and I don't. They can hit Wii numbers with the Switch if they cannibalize the handheld market. If all of those handheld people come across and buy a Nintendo Switch, you're looking at what, DS like 70 million units total.
I think so. I think it's a little bit more, but yeah.
Yeah, plus whatever the Switch is going to do, which has already outpaced the Wii U.
Which is not hard.
But
My
like,
grandma can
like-
outpace a Wii U.
but honestly though,
Yeah.
for them to outpace the 5 years of the Wii U in 1
18
year,
Yeah. It's not
'Cause
even 18 months, it's 1 year.
it was 1 year. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a year and a month.
Yeah.
Like
Shit.
that was when I think they hit the Wii U numbers well before the year mark.
Yeah.
I think it was like after Christmas. They're like, oh yeah, we beat the Wii U. Like that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
impressive to do that many, because like
It's only 20 million.
still like that's a quarter of what the PlayStation has done.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it like at 80 million, it's a quarter of what the PlayStation has done in 1 year.
It's not wrong. Yeah.
Like, that's
yeah.
That's incredible for a system that is, like, make no bones about it, primarily a first-party system.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, because there are
And
people.
Bethesda. Like, Bethesda ports. Like, that's
when
all you get on it.
Because when people buy a PlayStation, they're not necessarily buying it for the Sony exclusives. A lot of people who buy PlayStations just buy it to play games.
Yeah.
And that's just the one they're choosing because all their friends have it.
Yeah.
And they play their Call of Duties, their Battlefields, their
Overwatch,
yeah,
yeah.
their multi-platform games, and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas Nintendo, it's like the average gamer isn't rushing out to buy Splatoon, you know.
No.
But
There is a Splatoon community, but
Yeah.
it's not what everyone's rushing
but like Zelda and Mario, these first party titles, and they're managing to make it work for them
Yeah.
using just those. Essentially, they're selling the console on those,
Yeah.
and then you get to see the rest of the stuff afterwards. After you've got it, this library opens up, and you're like, holy shit, there's so much stuff on here.
Yeah. Which is very interesting, because I think that's what they wanted to do with the Wii U. And the Wii U has awesome software, but it came at a time where we didn't really want anything. The Wii U's messaging was confusing to the point where people thought, oh, the Wii extension.
Yeah, a peripheral.
Yeah, and the hardware feels like a toy. Like, you don't, like, not a big boy toy like the Switch is.
I've said it once and I'll say it again, it feels like a prototype.
Yeah.
It goes exactly like a prototype.
Because
They
it
just
is.
pushed out the door. But with this dockless Switch, this says to me two things. One, I think they are going to move the Switch and reposition it as the handheld console.
I think they're doing this especially because Pokemon's coming out.
And that was the second thing. I was like, and I think this almost guarantees the Pokemon will be coming out this year.
Yeah.
Because it seems ridiculous to do a dockless Switch when the whole point of the system is to be a home console and a handheld console. Unless you have got a game that has always been on handheld coming to the system and you want to sell those handheld numbers.
Yeah. And I think, like, it makes more sense to Japan because they are a handheld culture.
It makes more sense in general, like across the globe, because the thing is, Pokemon is often seen as a children's game. It's a game that under 15s play. And the thing that was so great about the 3DS is that it's robust and it's portable. And it's cheap, comparatively. The Switch, the dockless Switch in Japan, essentially will knock off $100.
Yeah.
Australian. It's like 10,000 yen or whatever.
Yeah.
But if essentially you'd be looking at, instead of paying $465 in Australia, $469 for a Switch, you'd be looking at $369. That's a much more reasonable amount for a parent to say, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nearly $500 for a console for a kid. Nah.
Yeah.
$350-ish for a kid. Okay, like we can maybe squeeze that in.
Yeah.
We'll save up and get it for his birthday. Yada yada.
Yeah. Christmas probably.
Yeah, good Christmas present at that price range.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes the DS so great. It's like, okay, my kid wants a gaming console. Cool. Well, you can have the 3DS, it's $250, or the 2DS, it's $200. Like, And then you have
2DS still that high.
the 2DS XL is 200.
Okay.
The 2DS is 150.
Okay. I feel like that's where that should be.
Yeah,
because
because the 2D, it makes sense. Like the 3DS with the 3D capabilities, 250.
Yeah.
The 2DS, which is a 3DS without the 3D capabilities and still the flip cover, 200. The 2DS, which is a brick that can play 2D like 3DS games, 150.
Yeah.
Like it all makes sense, and like the dockless Switch is a way to now take, and this is the other thing, it takes that model of 3DS where you've got the 2DS, the 2D XL, and the 3DS of like these tiers. It allows them to do that with the Switch.
Yeah, they're definitely going to make this a tiered system.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the dockless Switch comes out and it's like, okay, cool, it's $100 less, and then I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they release a version of this where the Joy-Cons don't come off.
Yeah.
And it's like $100 cheaper again. Of like, yeah, it's just a fucking tablet with the controls on the end.
Some people think that they're even going to do a just Joy-Conless Switch, where it's just you have the controller, it can go into a dock, but that's not, you can, like, it can go into a dock, but there's no, like, that's $100 gone off the thing. It's just you play with the controller. Like, that's it.
Yeah, that'd work.
There's so many different ways.
And that's the beauty of it too, is there are so many different variables you can have. Like, different ways of like, yeah, okay, cool, we're now we're going to sell a version that comes with 2 sets of Joy-Cons, and it's $500 for those people who have big families and you want 4 controllers instead of having to pay an extra $120 for a set of Joy-Cons. You pay an extra $30 and you get it in the box. Done.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do a new Switch and it's slightly more powerful, so it's more focused for the people who want to play on their TVs.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it just has a little bit more horsepower, runs at like maybe 1080 as opposed to 720 all the
a Switch
time.
XL for those who want to use it more as a tablet. Like, there are so many iterations you can use on this thing.
Sounds like they've struck gold with this thing.
I think they might have. I think Nintendo has struck gaming gold, and I think that's why my crazy prediction from last week might not actually be as crazy as I thought it was.
You weren't even onto the idea of it. You were like, yeah, will they? And I'm like, maybe.
Sony might do another portable.
They might. Which you didn't have confidence in. You're like, maybe in like a billion years. I'm like, I reckon they could do one in the next 7 years.
Honestly, like, so I was talking with a friend about this at work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want them to do it. Not because I want a Sony portable again, because, like, honestly, they just... Sony has this thing where their external stuff, they always half-ass it. The only one they haven't is the VR. But, like, the iToy.
Oh, yeah. Like, all the eye and camera stuff.
The motion... Like, the move.
Move, yeah. Which is only now coming to its own because of VR.
Because of VR. The PSP, probably everywhere except Japan. Like, UMD movies. Like, what the fuck? And then the Vita. Like, it's always like they have this great idea, and they just half-ass it. And it falls apart. And you're like, this would be awesome. Like, I remember playing an iToy for the first time, and being like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah, me and my brother played iToy a lot.
Yeah.
It's just the one game, but it was like a mini mode game. And
Yeah.
you can do a bunch of stuff. Like, we like this. We can never get it to fucking work.
Yeah.
But
you're like, this is a cool idea. Why don't they put this into more stuff? And then the Wii did it like 10 times better.
yeah.
But they always seem to just not have... Because, like, the thing with the iToy is, like, there's no software for it.
No
there's
software.
Fuck
There's
all
like
software.
4 games and a Dora game.
And it's the same with the Move. Like, there's fuck all software for it.
And
the
they
software
made Sony... They made some of their first parties use it.
like jam it in there.
Like Resistance 3. And
Killzone 3.
Killzone 3 as well. I feel sorry for Gorilla and the Killzone.
Yeah.
They just make Halo. Make we're not Bungie.
Yeah. That's alright. They gave him Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
They got a chance to break from the shackles, and they've proved, like, let us do our thing and we'll figure it out.
It's probably interesting that the best Killzone game is a Vita game. Killzone Mercenary is really good.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, they always seem to half-ass their side projects. And I want them to do it, because I think this time around, because I'm not invested in it, I just want to watch it like a car crash. Just see them announce it and watch it burn.
That's what the Vita was.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, interesting back touch, interesting for L2R2, interesting front touch, GPS. Oh, the memory cards are $100 a piece.
Yeah, fuck off.
Oh, like everything's just super expensive.
But that's the funny... That is a funny thing, though, is that the thing that killed the Vita was the expandable memory cards being so fucking expensive.
That's immediately what killed it.
Yeah. That has not been an issue for the Switch.
The Switch uses normal SD cards that you can just buy,
normal
and
micro
they're
SD cards.
at a standard, easy price, whereas Sony's were
Because Nintendo has their own branded
proprietary.
ones. Yeah, well, they're not branded. They're SanDisk.
Yeah.
But they've got like Nintendo characters on it,
Yeah.
and they're like $120.
Yeah. But you can get regular.
Yeah, you can just get a
That's
regular.
the
I guess
thing.
that's the thing. You can get your
Vita
regular
is like
ones.
super proprietary. Like you have
Yeah.
to get this, and it will be $150 for 30 gigs.
See, this is
I'm
the
like,
thing.
this is stupid.
Yeah.
And that's why it died. Like the hype was so big. Yeah, Vita's gonna kill 3DS because this is when 3DS was
Yeah.
stumbling, and it was like, and these were the price card, and you're like, what? Killed it. And,
Yeah.
And there was no launch titles for it either.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, there was like Uncharted. Which
Uncharted Golden
is
Abyss?
better than an Uncharted 1, yes. In my opinion, it's a
No.
little bit longer, but it is better.
Not difficultly better than Uncharted 1. Uncharted 1 is very much a proof of concept.
Yeah,
It's very much like, hey, what if we did a movie, but instead it was a video game?
yeah,
What if we did Indiana Jones, but video game?
yeah.
Um,
Which is basically, what if Lara Croft, but male?
yeah.
And then Tomb
Which
Raider
would-
reboots was like, what if
Uncharted, but female? Yeah. Then God of War is like, what if Uncharted, but... No, what if Tomb Raider, but Angry God?
But boy.
But boy, yeah.
But you know, I think like for me yeah, you're right. Like even the PS Vita TV, which I think just called PlayStation TV.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the little...
Vita. It basically lets you play Vita games on your TV.
Yeah, it was a little $99 thing. I remember selling them at work
I've
for a
never
while.
seen them in the
They're
wild.
about this big.
Yeah.
You plug them into your TV. They've got like a LAN adapter or like a Wi-Fi thing
Yeah.
inside it. You hook your Vita up to it, and it basically just makes the Vita pop up. Basically, the Switch. The Vita ends up on the TV, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, I'll just play the thing here.
Yeah.
And you use a PS4 controller instead of the Vita.
Yeah.
So it is a Switch.
Yeah.
It is basically that.
Yeah. Like that's what they didn't give a shit about. There's PlayStation Now, which we have never seen in Australia.
Or anywhere outside of like the US.
I am not
Maybe
sure.
Japan has it, but
yeah, maybe.
probably Japan has it actually.
Yeah, but you know, nowhere.
Actually, they probably definitely have it because Switch did this weird thing where they released a port for Phantasy Star Online.
Okay, I was thinking of a new game that's been announced. I forget what it is. It's Resident Evil 7. The Resident Evil 7 cloud version. Is what
Yes,
it's
and
called.
and they did for PSO as well.
Yeah.
Of like a cloud version that you have to stream.
Yeah.
Because I don't
Which
know.
is interesting, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, it will not work in Australia.
Oh,
Like,
no.
Full stop. It won't work in a lot of America. Full
Yeah.
stop. But it's a Japanese only thing.
Yeah.
It is essentially designed for the Japanese market because their internet is amazing and all their infrastructure is perfect.
Yeah.
So they can do stuff like that where it's like, here, stream it. And they're like, okay.
In the more metropolitan areas, when you get to like the boondocks of Japan, it is just as bad as anywhere else.
Oh, yeah. But like they're marketing to those people who are in the city.
Yeah.
That's who buys the consoles.
Yeah. But you know, for me, like, yeah, there's so many other things that like PlayStation hasn't done. Did you know like PlayStation View?
View? Yep.
Yeah,
the
I'm like,
ability
which
to
is
have-
just cable through PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
There's all these weird
it's,
shit that they,
it's a la carte cable.
which is
So you know how like when you do a like Foxtel.
yeah, cable package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you do a cable package. You pay $47,000 a month, and you get like 37 channels,
Yeah.
and 36 of them you don't want.
Yeah.
You bought it because you wanted the one channel.
You wanted Comedy Central and HBO
Yeah.
or Showtime in Australia.
Yeah. Essentially, what View let you do was just that. Pick one.
I like that. I
You-
was being sold on that when I was hearing
Yeah.
about it. I'm like, if I wanted to watch TV, yeah, this is the way I would go.
Yeah.
But
You essentially, like, from the channels that were there, you could just pick the ones that you wanted, and it would be, like, a small charge per month, as opposed to, like, $1,000.
yeah,
And so,
but
that
they
was
don't
it.
put their effort behind it. That's
No,
the thing. Like, these
it's
are
in,
cool
like,
concepts.
it's in, like, 5 American cities.
Yeah,
It's like San Francisco, LA,
Houston, or the other Texas place,
Austin.
Austin.
I
yes,
think it's Austin.
Austin.
And I don't think it's on the other coast. I think it's only on the west coast.
That's weird.
Which
Because I was
is
about to say
even
New
worse.
York. Like that would
No,
make sense. But
no, I think it's LA, San Francisco,
Seattle.
Austin. No, not Seattle.
Okay,
Austin.
let's guess American names.
Oh, I can't remember now, but it's I think
Yeah.
I remember seeing the map when they did the view
Yeah.
thing, and they're like, we're now in 5 cities, and I remember seeing the map, and it's like America, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like all in one corner. You're like, fucking what?
But that's the thing; they're the cool concepts. But PlayStation doesn't put their ass behind it. Doesn't put their effort. The closest thing that they've put more than half-assed into is the PSP. Like the Ready at Dawn had 2 good God of War games. While it died off, it was like, and then Square Enix discovered it. We're like, I bet we put some games on here, and then Crisis Core,
Crisis
the City,
Core,
Kingdom Hearts just came out, and you're like, holy shit, this is my Square Enix machine!
Yeah, it's
and
good.
then Japan's like, Monster Hunter!
Yeah. Fuck.
The claw.
Yeah.
The fabled claw.
Yeah. The fucking... Jesus Christ, it's so dumb.
Monster Hunter Jutsu's
Yeah, Jutsu, yeah. But now it's, now I've got a big boy Monster Hunter, so I don't need it. That's the thing that I think is going to be interesting, is like, do they do this? Do they come up with a new PlayStation Portable, whatever they come up with?
PlayStation.
Do they put...
effort behind it.
Do they put their games behind it? They put their effort behind it? What does it look like? Do they do what the Switch has done and basically take one of their older consoles and... Not older, the Switch is basically a 360 in a tablet.
Yeah.
Do they do that? Does the PlayStation go, like, okay, cool, we'll take a PS3 and put it in a tablet?
Yeah.
And give it that power? Or do they go the other way? Did PlayStation make an indie machine? Like, lower power specs, nice and simple and portable, and they just go all about... Because that's what the Vita ended up being, was an indie machine.
And it's beautiful for that.
And they just start there, it's like, it's an indie machine.
Yeah.
All our first-party titles come to the PS4, this is an indie machine.
It'd be really interesting because Vita was sold with the intent of AAA gaming on the go. So was the PSP. And PSP had yet a better balance of that. You had actual developers come to it, like Rockstar with the Liberty City stories and Chinatown Walls and shit like that.
Yeah.
We didn't get many AAA games. And, Activision killed it in 2 years. With 2 games. I know, Sony and... with Resistance and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Not Resistance.
Yeah.
Always get Resistance and Killzone confused. But anyway.
Yeah, not hard.
Yeah, they're both aliens.
Yeah.
Because people bought it with the intent, they just kept buying stuff. The attach rate is super good, which is why people who make Guacamelee and Severed, can't think of their name, but the Severed was originally a Vita exclusive.
Yeah.
Just because we know... that's where Guacamelee mostly sold. That's where I played it the most.
Yeah.
And then they finally ported it to... I think it's on Switch and tablets, phones and stuff.
Yeah. They're doing a second one, too.
Server 2?
No, Guacamelee.
Yeah. I'm excited for Guacamelee.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
But yeah, whereas for an indie machine, it's weird to think, this is only for indies. Because...
I don't think only for indies, but I think if that was the core focus of it. Hey, cool, we've got a couple of bigger companies doing bigger stuff on it, but use your crossplay to your advantage, because that's what PS4 did. Well, that's what PS3 and Vita did very well. When the part of it that you were like, okay, this is a good idea. It was cool, you buy it on one system, you get it on both.
Yeah.
Use that to your advantage of okay, cool. Any title that we deem independent, that we have on this independent list or whatever, all those games that we have there, if you purchase them on the PS4, you will get a free download for this other system.
Which is mostly how it works.
Mostly.
I downloaded Bloodstain, on PS4, and it didn't come with a Vita code. I'm like, and it's the exact same price. I'm like, I kind of want to play this on Vita, but...
What really annoys me is that I can't play my the PS Plus games. There's a Vita when there's a Vita game up there, it doesn't have let me play it on my PS4. Why is that not possible?
Yeah, sometimes it's weird because sometimes it is all three PS3, PS4, Vita. Yeah. And then sometimes it's only PS3, PS4, Vita, and sometimes it's PS4, Vita.
Yeah.
It's very weird,
But most of the time I see when I see the Vita symbol, it also says PS4 on it. Because that version can be done across both.
Yeah.
But then occasionally I see one that says Vita. I'm like, why is that not on the PS4? This thing can obviously run that. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Sometimes it is sometimes it is the just mechanics of it, using touchpad, touchscreen and stuff, but that's very specific games. I don't think you'll ever see a Vita version of Golden Abyss without being retooled.
They put Tearaway on PS4.
That was retooled. Though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why just do
anyway. Because that company, I forget the name, needed more money. Let's just put a money thing out before we fuck up Dreams.
Is that Media Molecule?
Yeah, Media Molecule.
Yeah, the
Dreams. Because we're not ever putting out Dreams.
No, apparently it's fine.
Yeah, apparently.
There's a lot of people from Judges Games Week, E3 Judges Week, saying that we played Dreams and it was weird but cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one we can talk about for a second. Dreams, yeah. I heard some really good reports out of it.
Apparently it's the same demo that they played like 6 months ago, and some journalists sounds like they haven't actually played it. I heard it from like, yeah, we've played this.
Apparently it was at GDC, I think.
Oh, yes.
So some people got to play it, but basically what I heard from the people that were talking about it, they said that like the first time they ever saw Dreams with like the E3 reveal, they were like, what the fuck is this game and how does it work?
Yeah.
And then they got their hands on it and they were like, oh!
Yeah.
Like it clicks when you play it.
Yeah.
And he was like, the couple of guys were like, yeah, they played some like platformers that people had made in there and it actually felt good.
Yeah.
Like not shitty.
Yeah.
And apparently you can adjust things in there like the physics engine.
Yeah.
So you can make it like super tight like Mario Jump.
Mm-hmm.
Or super floaty, like
Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet. Like, you can actually adjust that shit. And I was like, that seems bold and ridiculous,
Yeah.
but cool. Because,
Yeah.
like, if you remember the shit that was happening in Little Big Planet when it towards the end of it, people making RPGs in that fucking thing?
Yeah. Little Big Planet 2 and 3, just like, you can make anything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And now this is just taken, this is basically
Imagine
Little
if you
Big
could
Planet
make anything. Like, it'd be really interesting. The problem is that it might Super Mario Maker itself, in that there will be a core, small audience of people who make stuff. Everyone else who buys that's just going to play. And if those core audience don't make and start to get bored of it, then the thing will fall apart.
Yeah. That's the thing, like, I think it also needs to be, like, one of the biggest criticisms I've seen, and I agree with, that there needs to be a core game. Like, Little Big Planet, there's a story mode, there's a single player. There needs to be something like that for Dreams, and they never actually said what that is.
From what I understood from the couple people who played it this time around, is that there is some sort of story mode.
Yeah.
Where it essentially is taking you through the mechanics of the game and how to do stuff. And that, like, it's weird. You're playing the game while making the game.
Yeah.
And so you get to do both at the same time. Like, okay, cool, that could be fun.
Yeah.
And if it teaches me how to actually use this fucking tool, I might use it a couple of times and make some things. Because I never made anything in Super Mario Maker because I just couldn't be fucked.
Yeah.
I prefer playing that game.
Like, Dreams needs to come out. At this point...
I think it'll be this year. It sounds like it's going to be this year.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds like with everything else, like, this year seems to be the year. Like, 2015 was a big year for games that were never going to fucking come out. Because that was FF15 and... Oh, sorry, 2015-16, I guess, because 2016 was Last Guardian.
Yeah.
But they kind of announced...
I thought Final Fantasy 15 was 2016.
Was it 16? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
No, I thought it was 15.
No, because... No, it's 16 because 2017 was last year, and that's when they did all their DLC. Where in 2018 we're not getting DLC, 2019 when we're getting DLC
Right.
again.
Okay, cool. So what's 2016? Yeah, 2016 was a big year for vaporware games. Yeah. And I feel like 2018 is another one because we're getting Kingdom Hearts 3 and I think we might get Dreams.
Yeah? That's the thing, like... I get your point, but like for me, Kingdom Hearts was never vaporware 3. It was announced in 2013. It's 2018. That's 5 years. That's a normal production cycle, except they announced it when they started the game.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Whereas Dreams, that game was in development. Like, Media Molecule Core hasn't put out a game since Little Big Planet 2, which was 2011. It's been 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, Tearaway and Tearaway Unfolded are side stories.
That being said, they only announced it at 2015's E3.
Was it?
Yeah, it's not been that long. So it's like it's been 3 years since announcement, which, you know, some games take longer than that.
That's the thing, like, we were meant to get a beta the next year in summer. Which was our
but
winter.
the thing was smart, though, is they knew they weren't going to hit release date, they knew they weren't going to hit any of that stuff, so they just shut up about it. And closed it. And
Is that good? They should at least communicate.
Let them fucking work. Nah, I think that, going back to the point from the PS5 talk, I just think that the industry's news media and the games industry at large, and the community, needs to get over themselves in terms of, like, we need to know everything right now. Like, no, like, they couldn't hit their release date, they knew they weren't going to, so instead of sitting there and giving you bits and pieces like Duke Nukem Forever for 10 years, or like Final Fantasy and giving you a trailer every year of like, this is the next thing, and you waiting for it, they've just gone, no, cool, we're going to shut down, we are going to work on this game, and the next time you hear from us, we will have something.
Which is a problem I think Sony has. Like, the Media Molecule seems to be good, but they announced Death Stranding too early, and they keep bringing it to every press conference.
No,
Like,
again, Death Stranding's the exception to the rule.
No, okay, yeah, your point. But my point, yeah, no. Okay, let's go with the other, Last of Us 2.
Last of Us is the one I agree with you on.
Which
yes,
is
100%.
like, we should know about. They shouldn't be taking that to every conference, and it's better than Death Stranding, but in terms of like bringing it everywhere. But like, we should have, if they wanted to announce it. We don't see it until do a God of War. We didn't hear about that game for 18 months after it was revealed, and it's just like, and then PlayStation or Spot did like, oh, we're doing stuff with it. Here's what the game looks like, and no one's paying attention because we don't want spoilers. And then
I'm sure that given the way God of War went, and Horizon Zero Dawn as well, they did the same thing. Announced it kind of silent.
It was a little bit more involved in God of War, but yeah, more or less.
I mean, we got way more of a gameplay demo, and there was a little bit more sort of known about it. But like, it was essentially like announcement to release. There was a little bit of a window there where it was like, oh, you remember that Horizon Zero Dawn game?
Yeah,
that thing looked fucking rad. Where's that at? And so I get the feeling that like, here's the thing. When you look at that, I look at that and go, huh, maybe the problem isn't Sony. Because they've done it. They've proved they can do it. They've proved they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
So is the problem Naughty Dog? Are they the ones wanting to push this out? Because as far
I see your point, yeah, but I am not sure.
Yeah, because that's the thing. And like, and I remember the Uncharted 4 thing was exactly the same. That they did their like big reveal at the end of the E3 the previous year. Then it got pushed back a bunch, and they kept doing stuff for it, gameplay demos and little bits and pieces. And it was like, huh, I don't know if it's actually Sony. Because I know 100% the Death Stranding stuff, that's Kojima.
Yeah?
That's 100% Kojima. Yeah. Like, that's him doing him. That's just what he does.
Yeah.
But, like, Ghost of Tsushima. They announced that 2 years ago.
Shut up about
Just
it.
shut up about it.
Which is what I want. And it's like, okay, this game, we have no idea, which is why I'm excited about E3. They're going to blow it out.
Same with the Spider-Man game.
Yeah. We have no idea, like, GameSpot had their thing about it, where it's just like, oh, yeah, Mr. Negative's negative.
But we knew that game was coming, we knew it was a thing, but they didn't give us the release trailer until last year?
What do you mean release? Like, with a...
Like, the E3 trailer, the big one that's like, this is Spider-Man, and showed us, like, the gameplay and everything.
Oh, yeah, like, the one, yeah, that was last year.
That was
the
last
year
year?
before was just a concept trailer.
Yeah, and again...
But it turns out to be actual gameplay. We're like, how long have they been developing this?
A while, apparently. But yeah, like, they gave us that last year, and there's been nothing since. As far as I can tell.
Except for the GameSpot stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and the GameSpot, like, I don't...
It counts, but like...
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that game's ramping up to existence.
Yeah,
It's going to come out this year.
And so, like... You look at all... So that's what? It's Insomniac, that's Santa Monica, Guerrilla, Sucker Punch. They're all the big ones. They're all been system movers. They've all been high sellers, or going to be. You can feel it. It's Naughty Dog. It's got to be. Like, Process of Elimination, I don't think it's Sony. It might be. I'm not saying it's 100% not.
Yeah.
Because it's Sony and they're a big weird company and they do fucking dumb things sometimes. But, like, I can't sit here and put that all on Sony when the only company that seems to do it is Naughty Dog.
The only thing I can see is a weird marketing thing in Naughty Dog, like, hey, we need to show this game as much as possible to a degree to sell it.
How long was The Last of Us, the first one, shown before they got that out?
I think it was E3 2012, because there was the literal mic drops thing, because you drop the controller on stage, and you're like, holy shit. PSX didn't exist. I think that was it. I think there was 2011 before. No, there wasn't 2011.
No, and then it came out
they were focusing on Uncharted 3 in 2011.
Yeah.
2012 must have been the big blowout.
Yeah.
There was a reveal trailer at the opposite of PSX Game Awards.
Yeah.
I was going to call that Game Awards show. Game Awards.
Game Awards. Well, which was called
VGX
at that time, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, it would have been 2012, waited a year, and then came out before E3, frustrated all the game journalists.
Yeah, that's right, because it came out in June of 20...
Yeah, like 20... during the week of E3.
Yeah,
because there was another E3 trailer there, just like, go buy it! We're like, I'm finished it already 3 times! Fuck you!
But yeah, like, it just seems odd. It
think.
seems like a Naughty Dog thing that...
It must be just a weird internal thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some pressure from Sony, but like
Yeah, maybe some.
Sony's kind of hands off, but like.
But that's the thing is like from most reports that I have that we have
Yeah.
from Sony internal and those particular studios is that Sony can be quite hands off with them.
Mostly,
They pretty much they're just like, here's your budget. Like we have agreed to make your game. We think your game will do well.
Yeah.
Here's your budget. Here's your team.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 4 years. Like fucking whatever. And it's only when creators start to get a little bit too fast and loose with their stuff that Sony will step in and be like, what the fuck's going on? Like Sony Bend.
Yeah.
And
then they put a good producer on it. That's why Last Guardian came out, was just like, I forget who I think it was like a BioWare producer, just like put him on the game, make this game actually come out.
Yeah.
Like I forget who it was, but yeah, they put on an actual producer to get the game out.
Yeah. And like that's yeah, like and that's how Sony should do their first parties. And I get the feeling that Naughty Dog is the same, that they've just gone, here's your stuff, we know you can do it again. Apparently it has been a little bit... I did hear a story about, like, the idea of doing Last of Us Part 2 might have been a Sony idea rather than a Naughty Dog idea.
I have a feeling Sony would have been like, hey, can you make another one? And then Neil Druckmann would have been like, I just dealt with all this Uncharted 4 bullshit with Amy Hennig and all that.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. And then he was probably in the shower and then like, I have a good idea. I'm going to start writing this down.
Yeah.
That's probably
But I did hear some reports that like that
yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 was a bit of an internal political fight to get that off the ground.
Which is kind of scary because it seems like everything in Naughty Dog's been a political fight.
I think Naughty Dog might be having some troubles.
Internally with its
Yeah.
top stuff.
With its hierarchy and just, the reports
Which
coming
is
out.
interesting because they didn't actually have a hierarchy. Like when Uncharted 2 and 3 were coming out, like we don't really have a hierarchy. Like everyone has an input on the game. Like if you were in...
I think that might be creating their problems. Like they've never had a hierarchy before. They've never had one person to answer to. If you want, okay,
there is a team leader, but like
but if you want to take the example that I use, I'll take professional wrestling.
Yeah.
There were two companies in the 1990s, WCW and WWF.
Okay, I was going to say SmackDown and Raw.
No, that's all WWF stuff. Okay. But there was WCW and WWF.
How wrestling works.
And essentially, the WCW was owned by a billionaire, the guy who owned CNN, Ted Turner. Yeah. Yeah.
Turner, yeah, no,
yes.
that's half of
he,
Warner Brothers.
He owned it.
Yep.
But he didn't know much about wrestling. He liked wrestling, didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
So he just let them do whatever. They had a board of directors and a whole bunch of other people, and what ended up happening was the guy that they hired to run that part of the company, he knew how to run a television show, not a wrestling company.
I've heard stories about this, yeah.
Yeah, so what he ended up doing was he ended up letting the wrestlers run the asylum. So they had their own creative control, could say what they wanted to say. If like someone was like, hey, we're doing a storyline and you're going to lose this match, they could be like, no, I'm not going to lose that match, I don't want to. And just shut it all down. Like, no, I don't want to fight that guy. I'm not going to. I think he's shit. And they were all of them were having that control, and they all fought against each other. And I was like, cool, there is no one here that we can go to end this dispute, because the guy who's meant to be running it really doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
The people who have all the control of the money are all just suits that have no idea what they're doing. And the people who are actually making the decisions are all bickering with each other because they all want to be top dog and they all want to have their ideas go over the top.
Yeah.
On the other side, you've got the WWF. It's run by one guy. His name is Vince McMahon.
I know that name.
Everything goes through him.
Yeah.
Every creative decision, every hiring,
like
every firing.
Stanley in the 60s and 70s.
Exactly. He does everything himself. The dude is now 73 years old and still running that fucking company day to day. He is still the CEO and chairman of that company and is backstage at every single wrestling show, headset on, directing the show.
He did it. Fuck, alright.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He is the one, so he's got a director or camera, like a cinematography or videography director, who like grabs the shots and like does the actual mixing.
Yep.
But he's on headset. He's saying like, "Cool, I want you to cut to a shot of," and he describes what he wants. And then because they've got like 20,000 cameramen in there, then the guy in the truck goes, "Okay, cool, I need a shot of this. That camera's got it. Cut this camera."
Yeah.
Like he actually does the actual directing. But he's backstage doing everything. He's basically the stage manager. He calls the show. He's like, all right, cool, and cue the next wrestlers. Like, he does all of it, and he's 73 years old.
Jesus Christ.
The dude is he's a madman. He's insane.
Did he have a protege? Because it sounds like...
Yes, he does.
Good.
He does. He does have someone who is looking, like an ex-wrestler who is looking to probably take the mantle, and his daughter, who are married. The wrestler.
That's not going to cause any legal issues.
I don't think it will, because the company is publicly traded.
Okay.
And the weird thing is that his daughter was not hired to her position from being his daughter. She was hired as, when she was a teenager, as a person who packs the merchandise.
Okay.
And she got promoted internally
cool.
to her position. She has worked all the way through. And the wrestler obviously was a wrestler. Been a wrestler for 30 years?
So since wrestling existed.
Yeah. Well, no, not that long. Wrestling has existed since the 1912. Anyway.
Well, really, since the 1100 BC with the...
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But
no, like he's been a wrestler long enough that they trust him.
Yeah,
his
fair enough.
But essentially, that's what I think Naughty Dog might have, is the problem of, like, there's not one person who's calling the shots, and there's not a person to go to when you have a problem. Because everyone's doing everything, and when you have that, if you do have an issue, it just gets bottled up.
Yeah.
And Naughty Dog's been let loose, and that's why when, like, those reports of, like, sexual misconduct and racism and all that kind of stuff came out, Sony was like, alright, cool, we need to do something about this, or, you know, corporate speak for, we are looking into this.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'll bet Sony didn't even know. I'll bet they were just like, fucking, we don't know. Those motherfuckers just run wild.
Yeah.
Like a pack of dogs over there. We hand them $100 billion and they make us a 10 out of 10 game. That's what we do with them.
Yeah.
And I'll bet that was exactly what it is. And it shouldn't be that way, but I'll bet that's what it is.
It sounds like the case because, like, Amy Hennig's gone because of creative differences. I hope she makes another game because she was meant to do the Star Wars single player game. That got cancelled, so fuck.
Yeah, I hope she makes something good. She's such a fucking amazing, talented woman.
Yeah. Bruce Straley, I want to say his name is?
Yeah.
He's on a year sabbatical. He's not doing Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
He's just taken a year off to just
do
whatever he needs.
Probably needs a year
because
off.
he did Last of Us and Uncharted 4.
Actually, I think I know that. I think I heard about that year sabbatical because I think I remember seeing a story of, like, he's been there since Naughty Dog started.
He's one of the guys. He wasn't necessarily a lead when Naughty Dog started, but
he's been there since the day they were founded, and that's like 20 or something years.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need a year off, and everyone's like, cool.
Yeah.
You take that year off.
Yeah, you just worked on 2 10 out of 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then,
And you've literally been here the entire time we've been pumping out games. Like, since Crash Bandicoot, you've been here.
Yeah.
Probably take a week.
Yeah.
Take a week. Like, yeah.
Neil Druckmann seems to be the closest thing to a leader, and I think they are restructuring-ish to a more corporate-ish, a less democratized thing, and more of
I hope so, because, like,
well-oiled machine.
Yeah, like, democracy's great, but there's a certain point where someone needs to be like, fucking stop. Like, someone needs to herd the sheep.
And I've had to learn that lesson doing this podcast, which is interesting, because, like we didn't know what to call the show, and everyone's like saying, I'm just calling it Amalgam's Game Lab. Like, fuck it, it's just, we need to do something. Like, just a way more smaller scale than currently having to run 400 people.
Exactly. Yeah, someone needs to herd the sheep, and hopefully Naughty Dog can do that because they make some incredible games.
Yeah. And I want them to keep making incredible games.
I do. I want them to do that as well, but also I kind of want them to take a break. I don't want them all to burn out.
Yeah.
I don't want the company to go up in a blaze of glory. Like, I don't want them to Ubisoft themselves, where they just, like, start to fizzle out because they don't know what they're doing. But I guess the thing is they're a developer, not a publisher. So they're not pumping out stuff, they're just doing what they get paid to do, so, like, hopefully that's okay.
Hopefully they do a Santa Monica and just, like, go quiet for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, after Ascension, we did not hear shit from them.
I kept thinking, the year, I probably said this on the...
I think you said it the other day, yeah.
Yeah, but the year that God of War was revealed, I literally thought partway through, like, before God of War was revealed, literally thought, I wonder what Santa Monica's been up to.
Yeah.
And there it was in all its glory, and I was like, fuck yes.
And that's the perfect time to reveal a game, is when you're thinking, hey, what are they up to?
Yeah.
Like,
same with Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
The year that they really revealed Ghost of Tsushima, I was thinking, man, Sucker Punch hasn't done anything in a while. Boom, there it is. Like,
I think
perfect.
over the year before that, or whatever it was for Spider-Man, when they were, like, rumored to be the Spider-Man developers, like, that makes sense, it's time for them. And then Insomniac, then we were like, what the fuck is Sucker Punch doing if they're not doing Spider-Man? What?
Yeah.
And then,
And, like, I hope they do that for all the teams. Like, I hope, once again, that I go, And again, like, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just really susceptible to the way they market, but the year that Horizon Zero Dawn was made, I went to my friends the day before, and they were like, what do you want from E3? And I was like, I want to know what Guerrilla's doing, because I haven't seen them since Killzone.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Horizon Zero Dawn, and I was like, this is perfect. Like,
so, which is why I hope you're really helpful, really good in the predictions next week.
Well, let's hope so. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna,
I love predictions. I love listening to them. I love making them.
Yeah, we'll start to wrap up here now, but we'll give you guys a preview of next week, as we will be doing our E3 predictions.
I'm not sure if that's going to be Games Lab or Amalgam Show. We'll discuss it with the guys.
We might just do it. Well, I think we should do it as Games Lab
and just have everyone on.
Yeah,
that's what I've been thinking as well. Yeah.
And then we'll do a regular game show because we'll structure it, and because it might only take like 30 minutes as we talk through our stuff.
Maybe.
And we might have to do. We might, depending on what news happens next week, we might have to do a separate Games Lab as well of like some actual good stuff, but like some not good stuff, some actual news topics and stuff as opposed to just that. But next week, we will be doing our E3 predictions. It'll be about a week out, so there's probably a lot of stuff that we'll get absolutely wrong, because a week is a long time in gaming news.
Yeah, everything could be revealed.
Yeah, everything could already be revealed, or like, especially because when we record, like, things might happen overnight, so things might already be leaked by the time it goes up. But that's the fun with predictions, is you can see how wrong you are.
I heard this joke, like someone was making leaks, like just like, oh, I heard these leaks, and then someone's like, if it's not from Walmart Canada, I don't trust them. I'm like, I love that.
My favourite one so far has been the Pokemon ones where people are photoshopping like Pokemon, like 2 Pokemon games, and one of the ones I saw was that it was Pokemon anyone can, Pokemon make fake leaks.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was really well done. Cool. So if you have enjoyed this, please remember to hit the like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions, or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. Check out the Amalgam Show later on this week, where we talk mostly Assassin's Creed.
Somehow.
It's a spattering of other things. It's a bit of a disjointed show, but it's a fun romp through General Zod. That'll make more sense after you hear the Amalgam Show.
Yep.
So that's it for this week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.